Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Village Board meeting of January 17th, 2017. If you join us, please rise with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Mr. Clerk, if you'd please call the roll.
Regular Village Board meeting, January 17th, 2017. Trustee Maher.
Here.
Trustee Grady.
Here.
Trustee Panito.
Here.
Trustee Vandenberg.
Present.
Trustee Yunker.
Here.
Trustee Suggs.
Here.
Mayor Seaman.
Here, we have a quorum. First item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
And then a second.
Actually, I talked to Laura, I had a few minor amendments, we could just hold that till the next meeting. As approved with the amendments.
No, we're discussing the approval of the agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2, approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting conducted January 3rd, 2017. May I have such a motion, please?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded.
I'd make a
Discussion.
motion that we table it, or in the alternative, approve it with the corrections that I discussed with Laura.
Are the corrections substantive?
Yeah.
Oh, well then,
Well, no, they're not. They're
They're nothing.
clarification.
Right.
then I think we probably have to table it since we haven't had a chance to review it. So at this point, I would ask for a tabling motion on the agenda.
So moved. Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 3, consider consent agenda. May I have such a motion, please? So moved. And a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Mr. Clerk.
Item 3, which will be a roll call for the consent agenda, following items A and B. Consider request from Mercy Home for Boys and Girls to conduct a Tag Day fundraiser on Saturday, March 4th and Sunday, March 5th, 2017 at certain intersections in the village of Tinley Park. And B, payment of outstanding bills in the amount of $1,918,100.72 as listed on the vendor board approval reports dated January 6th and January 13, 2017.
So moved.
Would anybody like to hear anything removed? Seeing as none, Mr. Clerk.
Roll call on consent agenda, Trustee Maher.
Yay.
Trustee Grady.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg.
Yes.
Trustee Yunker.
Yay.
Trustee Suggs.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 4, receive presentation of the certificate of registered public safety leader to Lisa Cordum. TJ.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to read the agenda item and then ask Lisa to come up here for the official presentation of her certificate and for the nice pictures with Pat Carr and myself. Lisa Cordum has been awarded the Certificate of Registered Public Safety Leader by the Association of Public Safety Communications Officials, International, Inc. Lisa Cordum has been a telecommunicator, lead telecommunicator, and the current operations coordinator for the 911 Command Center. Lisa has been with the Village of Tinley Park for over 16 years. Over the course of a year, Lisa completed coursework and practical exams to be awarded this prestigious designation. Lisa?
Please step up.
It's official when you put it in a binder like this. We just give all, keep all folders out when we do our presentation, so this is kind of nice. The Association of Public Safety Communications Officials International, Inc., APCO Institute. We hereby declare that Lisa Cordum, having completed all necessary educational courses through the APCO Institute Leadership Certificate Program, and having satisfied all other requirements, has attained the professional designation of Registered Public Safety Leader, and is awarded this diploma on this 25th day of October 2016. What took her so long? Oh, you just got there. With all the honors and privileges pertaining thereto, as attested by the signatures of the APCO International President and the APCO Institute Director. Congratulations.
Good job, Lisa.
It's always great to see somebody go above and beyond, and we thank you, Lisa. Item number 5, appointment of Patrick Hoban to position of Economic Development Manager. May I have a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
Been moved and seconded. Thank you. The village did undertake a fairly extensive search for Community Development Director. We didn't fill that position, but we came up with something almost just as good. Patrick Hoban interviewed not only for the Community Development Director position, but also for Economic Development Manager. And he is a certified economic developer, serves as Economic Development Officer with the City of Decatur, and spent 10 years of his career working in various economic development positions. So, Brian, this is really out of your committee,
Well,
economic development.
We're looking forward to having Pat work with our economic development matters. He brings a lot of energy and new ideas to the village, and we're going to give him all the support we can to make sure he's successful.
Patrick, would you like to stand up and introduce yourself to everybody here so that you're a familiar face?
Go up to the mic or just do it from here?
Mic is fine.
Well, we're happy to be here. This is my wife, Sarah Hoban, daughter Lorelei, other daughter Savannah, mother Michelle, and my father-in-law Mike all made the trip up. Lucky enough for us, we've come up to watch concerts before. We're a big concert family, so whenever we saw the opportunity to come here and actually get to see more music and be in such a beautiful community such as yours, we thought it was a great opportunity. So we're very excited to get started and more than happy to help you guys achieve your goals and proud to be a part of the team.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thanks, Patrick.
With that, all signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now you're legal. Welcome aboard. We're looking forward to it. You guys really don't have to stick around for the rest of the meeting if you want. You probably...
We're going to go grab some food to eat.
Some great places down Oak Park Avenue. Item number 6, Trustee Vandenberg.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, I move to consider ordinance number 2017-0-007, approving the official zoning map reflecting map amendments through December 31st, 2016.
May we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Per the Illinois Municipal Code, there's a draft of it over here to my front left. Per the Illinois Municipal Code, municipalities must adopt an official zoning map by March 31st of each year. The zoning map reflects all zoning within the corporate boundaries as of December 31st, 2016. Throughout the year, various map amendments are approved. The adoption of the official zoning map provides a documentation of zoning status of property and any zoning changes that have been approved since the last adoption. I also like to note that this has been presented to the Plan Commission. This is first reading this evening.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7, Trustee Maher.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This time I'd ask the board to consider on first reading ordinance number 2017-0-008, amending Title 11, Chapter 119 of the Tinley Park Code regulating aggressive door-to-door solicitation.
May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Thanks. The Village Code currently has a licensing system for any company and/or individual that applies to solicit within the village. Once a license is issued, the Village Code prohibits certain acts under penalty of a fine, suspension, or revocation of the license. Currently, the prohibited acts include 1, continuing to solicit after being asked to leave the premises, 2, soliciting from a premises that prominently displays a no solicitors permitted designation, 3, making false statements and representations, 4, soliciting during prohibited hours, and 5, obstructing traffic. This ordinance before you tonight amends this portion of the code and adds aggressive solicitation to the previously mentioned prohibited acts. Examples of aggressive solicitation under this ordinance include 1, continuing to solicit after the person has indicated he or she does not wish to make a purchase, 2, approaching a person while entering or exiting a vehicle, 3, intentionally touching a person without consent, 4, the use of threatening conduct or words, 5, the use of profane or obscene language toward a person. And 6, the use of any other words or conduct that would cause a reasonable person to fear for his safety or safety of their property.
Thank you. This has been raised as an issue by a number of residents that have been approached by a certain solicitation from a certain company, and we think that there will be other actions taken, but for the time being, this will help strengthen our position, and council has directed us in this fashion. Basically, intimidating behavior will not be acceptable. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item number 8, Trustee Maher.
Thank you, Mayor. At this time, I'd ask the board to consider final authorization of an agreement with Gerard Roberts Construction, Inc. To construct 19 custom benches at a not-to-exceed cost of $11,780 or $620 per bench.
May we have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. On November 30th, 2016, the village issued a request for proposals soliciting a craftsman to construct 19 custom benches for the Benches on the Avenue Public Art Project. 2 proposals were received. The one first was from Gerard and Roberts Construction Company of Homer Glen at $11,780, and the other was Friedrich Construction of Orland Park at $13,500. Since the Gerard Roberts is actually the company that's been constructing these benches the past 13 years, and the village has found their quality and service to be acceptable. So I'd ask the board at this time to approve the expenditure.
Any questions from the board on this one? Any questions from the audience about this particular item? Let the record reflect there were none. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Item 8 on roll call for construction of benches, Trustee Maher.
Yay.
Trustee Grady.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg.
Yes.
Trustee Yunker.
Yay.
Trustee Suggs.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 9, Trustee Grady.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I ask the board to consider for adoption ordinance number 20170-004, authorizing entry into a lease with the State of Illinois Department of Central Management Services concerning property located at 6825 173rd Place.
Move a second. Thank you.
Thank you. This basically extends the current contract for an additional 5 months, which will allow the state police to find a location to move their, whatever they're using the facilities for. It used to be internal affairs, but nonetheless, we need the space, so we're basically asking them to move out within the next 5 months.
Anybody from the board have any questions about this particular item? Anybody from the public care to comment? Let the record reflect there are none. Mr. Clerk.
Item 9 on roll call for ordinance 004, Trustee Maher.
Yay.
Trustee Grady.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg.
Yes.
Trustee Yunker.
Yay.
Trustee Suggs.
Yes.
Motion carried. Item number 10, Trustee Grady.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd ask the board to consider entering into a professional services agreement with D&B Power Associates for upgrading of the uninterrupted power supply at the Public Safety Building.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
In order to provide a backup emergency power supply to all the village's critical public safety equipment, the village utilizes an uninterrupted power supply at the Public Safety Building. The UPS provides emergency power to computer systems, radio, and telephone equipment related to the village public safety functions. The current UPS was installed in 2006 and is in need of an upgrade due to its age. The village solicited multiple quotes for the update of the UPS, and D&B Power Associates provided the village with the lowest cost quote. The quoted price, $20,906, is approximately $1,000 under the budgeted amount for this project. As part of the quoted price, D&B will provide a 1-year warranty and maintenance program. The expected life cycle is 10 to 12 years. This item was discussed at the January 3rd, 2017 Public Works Committee and recommended for approval.
Anybody from the board have any comments or questions? Anybody from the public have any comment or question? Let the record reflect there were none. Mr. Clerk.
Item 10 on roll call for professional services, Trustee Maher.
Yay.
Trustee Grady.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg.
Yes.
Trustee Yunker.
Yay.
Trustee Suggs.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 11, Trustee Panito.
considering approving a new fee schedule for building inspection services with Rick Danden. Rick Danden, I'm sorry, am I in the wrong number?
You're in the right place. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Rick Danden has been providing building inspection and plan review services for the village on a part-time basis since May 18, 2016. The structure of the fee schedule was based on a contract the village had with previous inspection service, H.R. Green, which charged on an hourly basis $80 to $112 an hour, plus traveling expenses. Plan reviews were also based on an hourly basis. With the hiring of Rick Danden, staff negotiated an hourly fee of $45 per hour for inspections and a flat fee plan review. There is no payment of traveling expenses. Rick is requesting a revision of his current fee schedule to bring him more in line with his contractual services in other communities. The major change will involve a fee per inspection instead of an hourly fee. This is consistent with the consultant services the village has with other inspection services. The approval of this fee schedule will amend the current contract effective immediately. Do I have a second?
Jay does.
You do. Anybody from the board have any questions? Anybody from the public have any questions? Let the record reflect there were none. Mr. Clerk?
Roll call on new fee schedule. Trustee Maher.
Yay.
Trustee Grady.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg.
Yes.
Trustee Yunker.
Yay.
Trustee Suggs.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 12. Trustee Yunker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like the board to consider resolution number 2017-R-004, authorizing the village manager to contract for the purchase of electricity.
May we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
In 2006, Illinois municipalities, including Tinley Park, faced the deregulation of Commonwealth Edison. The village made a policy decision in 2007 to join the electrical co-op, Northern Illinois Municipal Electrical Co-op, consisting of approximately 70 municipalities that collectively bid their energy purchase to obtain better pricing. The village's current electrical contract for the village-owned water pumping stations will expire May 31st, 2017. As such, NIMEC will be entering into a bidding process for electrical rates starting June 1st, 2017. As with our previous electrical agreements, the window of opportunity for the village to sign agreements and take advantage of the lowest bidder is typically limited to less than 48 hours. As such, the village will need to authorize the village manager via this resolution to sign a third-party electrical agreement upon completion of the competitive bidding process. The resolution will aid in assuring the village will continue to be afforded the best possible electrical rates. This item was discussed at the Public Works Committee meeting held prior to this meeting.
This item is for first reading. All in favor signify by saying yea.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 13.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like the board to consider resolution number 2017-R-003, authorizing an appropriation of up to $1.5 million in MFT funds for the 2017 Pavement Management Program.
May we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
This resolution between the Village of Tinley Park and the Illinois Department of Transportation would authorize the appropriation of up to $1,500,000 in MFT funds for the purpose of maintaining streets and highways under the applicable provisions of the Illinois Code from January 1st, 2017 to December 31st, 2017. Actual expenditures under this resolution will be subject to the amount of funds available. If any additional funds necessary for the 2017 Pavement Management Program are needed, they will be subject to the approval of the village board. Passage of this resolution will allow the village to competitively bid the project prior to the first major state-controlled bid letting in an effort to obtain the best possible unit pricing. This item was discussed this evening at the Public Works Committee meeting held prior.
This item is for first reading. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 14, Trustee Yonker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like the board to consider entering in a professional service agreement with Site Design Group.
May we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
The village needs to move forward with providing a landscape plan, construction documents, bidding and negotiations, and contract administration for the Panduit Legacy project. The design alternatives were discussed at the residential committee level in December. The project will include Phase 1 improvements at this time. The Phase 1 improvements include a multi-use pathway, landscape plantings around the perimeter, native plantings throughout the basin and slopes for erosion control and water quality, one major entry plaza, connections to existing sidewalks, and interpretive signage. The Village Landscape Consultant Site Design Group, which has provided these services for similar projects in the village, has provided costs for these professional services which will not exceed $28,190. This item was discussed at the Public Works Committee meeting on January 5th, 2017.
Anybody on the board have any comment about this particular item? I can say that we just met with some of the people from the Tinley Park High School, and they were very pleased that there will be a path around that pond, so for the students, so to do their running. So that's a good thing. Anybody from the public care to comment? Yes, Mr. Stockley.
Is the pond going to be aerated?
I don't. The engineers can answer better than I, but
Have significant standing water in it, so there will be no need for aeration.
Oh, okay. So it's going to be, the level will go down and up then?
Yes.
Okay.
any other questions? Let the record reflect there were none. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Item 14 on professional services, Trustee Maher.
Yay.
Trustee Grady.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg.
Yes.
Trustee Yunker.
Yay.
Trustee Suggs.
Yes.
Motion carried. Item number 15, Trustee Suggs.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like the board to consider ordinance number 2017-0-006, enacting regulations regarding the paid sick leave and minimum wage requirements within the Village of Tinley Park.
May we have a second?
So moved. Thank you. This ordinance amends the village code and establishes that employees in the Village of Tinley Park shall follow federal and state law pertaining to paid sick leave and minimum wage. The ordinance also expressly opts out of recently passed Cook County sick leave and minimum wage laws.
This item is on for first reading. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 16, Trustee Suggs.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like the board to consider adopting resolution number 2017-R-001, adopting a strategic plan for the Village of Tinley Park.
May I have a second?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Over approximately the last 12 months, the Village of Tinley Park has taken the necessary steps to complete a strategic plan process. Benefits of adopting a strategic plan for the village includes, but are not limited to, the following: document strategic priorities of the village board, provide direction and accountability to staff, communication tool with residents, prioritization of limited resources and findings, and sets future course of action for the village. The strategic plan is based on a process that included feedback from a community survey, a focus group, and two-day village board workshops. It is the intent of the village to discuss the strategic plan on a triannual basis during the April, August, and December Committee of the Whole meetings. This item was discussed at the December 13th, 2016 Committee of the Whole meeting and recommended for approval.
This item is subject to adoption tonight. Is there anybody from the board that has any question or comment? Anybody from the public with any question or comment?
Actually, I do.
Yes.
Mayor Seaman. So is this strategic plan, is this the thing that lays out, okay, we're going to get consultants for this, and this type of thing, considering what you just said in regards to running the workshops and whatnot? Who's running the workshops?
It's already took place.
Yes, they're done.
Those were already done.
Oh, it's already done. So this isn't.
This is already done. This is how to implement it.
Oh, so this isn't like a new strategic thing for like a whole bunch of
No.
other stuff.
No.
Oh, okay.
This is actually
Because
the next
I'm sorry, I
step.
see 2017 up there, and okay, all right. Because I'm like, well, wait a minute, we're just doing a whole more. Okay, all right. I feel better now. Thank you.
Anybody else care to comment? Let the record reflect there were none. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Item 16 on Resolution 001 for roll call, Trustee Maher.
Yay.
Trustee Grady.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
I vote no, but I just want to say, I'm not against strategic planning. It's great to have a plan. It's great to have something to implement. I simply don't endorse some of the items that are part of this plan, some of the proposals that are going to take place, and to preserve that, and I vote no.
Trustee Vandenberg.
Yes.
Trustee Yunker.
Yay.
Trustee Suggs.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 17, I'd like to ask for a concurring motion to the adoption of item number 2017-0-005, amending Title 11, Chapter 112, Section 112.22 of the Illinois Municipal Code, addition of one Class AV liquor license to the Dragon Palace located at 7122 West 171st. May I have such a concurring motion, please?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Members of the board, members of the public, this particular business has been in business for, I believe, over 20 years. Their layout and design of the building permits this. Was once upon a time used as a separate smoking area, and since that time has the space necessary to have an isolated gaming capacity. The planning area, I know, is working on signage requirements, and I don't know what the state of that is, but clearly, you know, the concern by many of the public has been sometimes the nature of the signage is less than appealing, and I think that's a concern that continues until we get it.
We can't regulate content. Is the only
Yeah,
thing.
Right.
the regulation of the content will affect the First Amendment, but I think we have some sign restriction, or size restrictions, pardon me, that the Plan Commission is currently contemplating. Is that?
Yeah, we already have existing sign regulations, and we brought most of those into compliance.
Okay.
And then there already was an amended sign
Mm-hmm.
regulation relating to wall signs. We're gonna have some minor tweaking. What we're mainly looking at right now with the Plan Commission is temporary signs and automotive signs. But I think some of it was the enforcement in the past.
Okay.
And so we're getting that very clear in the way
Okay.
the ordinance is right now.
Yeah, the temporary sign stuff has been pretty interesting. Just got done reading through the minutes, so looks like the commissioners have some really good input on that.
Great, excellent. This item is up for adoption. Anybody from the public care to comment? Seeing as there are none, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Item
call.
17, roll call on ordinance 005. Trustee Maher.
Yay.
Trustee Grady.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
No, but I want to explain my vote. I've got nothing against this particular business or any business. So obviously, I want every business in town to succeed. I'm merely against the spread of gambling in our community.
Trustee Vandenberg.
Yes.
Trustee Yonker. Trustee Suggs.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 18, comments from the board and staff. Anybody from the board care to make any
Mr. Mayor.
comments?
I haven't completely lost my mind, just for everybody on the board and for the public. When I was walking out of my house this evening for the very short time when I was there, my son came running up to me. He's 3.5, and he said, "Where are you going, Daddy?" I said, "I gotta go back to work." And he goes, "Will you take my friend with you?" So I took his friend, so his little sock monkey. I haven't lost my mind. I'm sorry. I told him, and this is his first time probably watching the meeting on televised TV. So, Oliver, hi. Here's your sock monkey.
Very good. Anybody else have any comment from the board? Any staff have any comment? Anybody from the public care to comment? Mr. Paz.
Yes, hello, hi, thank you for recognizing me. First, I've neglected this last 2 meetings. I wanted to thank Lucas for the podium. It's very helpful to have the papers here and we can put our phones and whatnot, so all thanks to Lucas, so, you know. Anyways, going on to the last, I can't believe I didn't notice this actually, but a consent agenda item on the last meeting was for various executive session minutes from the year 2000 up through March 2016. Are those going to be on the village website, Clerk Ray?
I'm sorry.
Sorry, that was.
Oh, yeah, no, it's okay.
We were discussing gambling. Go right ahead.
Yeah, no, that's cool. We can, yeah, gambling's cool too. But it was a consent agenda item saying they were going to consider releasing various executive session minutes between the year 2000 up through March 2016.
Yes, the last meeting, that's right.
So is that like gone through because it's a consent agenda item and now it's like we're going to release them and it's going to go on the website? How's that work?
Well, the answer to the first part of your question is yes. It's been approved and they are now in the public arena. Your question is, are we going to put them on a website or some other?
Well, you know, it's traditionally you have the agenda and minutes part of the open government part of the website. So is that going to go there, or is there going to be a special part, or
Let me
what's?
ask you.
Yeah, that's one we're working on.
As I would have said, no.
It will be, like.
Hold on,
Give us a little couple
No, that's fine. I was just curious. Thank you. I'm actually surprised I didn't notice it before. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Clerk Wright. Okay. A quick public service announcement leading into a couple questions. Obviously, as I mentioned before, April 4, 2017 is Election Day. What we just learned from Clerk Wright today, March 20th, 2017 is when early voting starts here at Village Hall, correct?
That's right.
An interesting one that I don't know how many people know. The Tinley Park Irish Parade has been moved to March 19th, 2017, which I find a bit odd, as it has traditionally been the first Sunday of March the last several years. At least I've been going to the Tinley Park Irish Parade since 2005. It's always been the first one to go. It goes before Southside Irish. It goes before Chicago's, where they dye the river green. Why are we moving this past St. Patrick's Day itself, which is actually going to be on a Friday night, so people are really going to celebrate it? Now it's kind of like an after-the-fact thing. I'm curious as to why this was done.
That went through the Main Street Commission, actually. I don't know, Brian, if you had any insight as to that conversation.
I mean, I think it was the recommendation, there was a lot of discussion about it. I think ultimately the recommendation was to do it because it was still St. Patrick's weekend, and I think there was some concern about losing participation with the Southside Irish Parade.
Brian,
I think it conflicted.
memory serves me correct, there was a survey that was put out, electronic survey.
There was.
I'm not certain that I
Well,
received
okay, so
any
since you
results
brought it
of
up,
Yeah.
Trustee Vandenberg, I responded to that survey when I saw it the first time on the, whatever they call it now, Citizens Better for Tinley Park. And then they said the first batch was lost, and then they made us do it again. My question is, was that survey ever put on the Tinley Park website? I don't remember seeing it there.
I don't know.
My question is who decided even to put it into the survey level? It was just fine being the first Sunday in March. Who decided, like, oh, we're going to just go put it back? Doesn't it seem a bit odd that you're going to let all these ones go ahead? That's what made the Tinley Park Irish Parade so unique. We were first to go. We were the first ones to get the crack at it. It's been very successful. No one up here, I think, is going to disagree with that, right? You have 10,000 people coming to this. It works just fine the way it is. I am curious as to what the reason is to why it was moved back. And I think it's going to hurt the parade because, again, so many people are going to celebrate that night, Friday night, where, St. Patrick's Day actually falls on a Friday this year. It's going to hurt the parade, and I want to know whose idea this was. Who started it?
I don't know.
It was vetted through the Main Street Commission.
I can tell you
That's
this
all.
from the Main Street Committee. I looked at all the agenda items. It was never mentioned even as an item as for consideration to move it. And if we're going to be perfectly honest, I would like the Tinley Park Commission agendas to be looking a little bit more professional than what they are. It looks like a PTA meeting, but that's a side thing. What's annoying to me is when I looked at the minutes, which is the only time the word Irish comes up when you search the entire last year, was 2 minutes in it, and it just says it was discussed, like you said, but not, hey, what's the pros and cons of keeping it in the first Sunday of March to having it after St. Patrick's Day itself?
Mike,
There's no...
You've hit your limit.
That's fine, but you know what? I'll tell you what. It's a bunk thing that you guys are doing.
I have some of the same reservations you do. Okay.
Okay, all right.
Anybody else care to comment? Mr. Eberhart?
Well, just to review, talked at the last board meeting about how it was arranged to take a vote for the acting mayor when Trustee Panitto, everybody knew that he was going to be out of town. How you vowed, according to the newspapers, Mr. Acting Mayor, not to take longevity pay but took it, and how it's clear from the board meeting minutes of that June 15th board meeting that there's pension ramifications. I think you learned this from the former mayor who quadrupled his salary to bump up his pension, coincidentally about the same time he retired from Brother Rice. Pension ramifications could put taxpayers on the hook for potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of your lifetime collecting a pension. So it brings up the bottom line question. When you promise, when you vow not to take the money and you do, and I explain the circumstances, why should anybody believe a whole lot of what you have to say?
Mr. Eberhart, you've had the opportunity to FOIA, I'm sure, all the checks that I've given to the village on a monthly basis. So that doesn't seem to count for much in your book, but I appreciate your comments as always.
Explain those checks,
Mayor, discussed before. You take the money, You keep enough money to pay taxes on it, you donate it back, so your income tax liability is zero. But
Well, I
if
don't
you are
think
elected
You
mayor,
must not be a good accountant because you know that
I'm
that is not
terrible.
the implication of
Okay.
a contribution.
Right. The other bottom line is, if you are elected mayor, every person who votes to make you mayor is agreeing to put taxpayers on the hook for potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars to an individual who's pretty
Negative.
well off. Put them at the public trough.
Yes, yes, thank you, Mr. Eberhardt. Anybody else have any comment? Lucas?
Hi. So when I was up here last time, I was talking about the overnight parking and how I kind of thinks it needs to be redone. And you had mentioned that you thought, or I believe that Orland Park, you could park on overnight. And you told me that you didn't believe it was true. I did go back to the code, and it does say that as long as you do have a residential kind of sticker, you can park overnight as long as it's not snowing. I went and consulted. I talked to a trustee in Orland Park just to make sure that I wasn't misreading the code. She said, no, that is correct. And I talked to someone else who always parks their street out, who parks their car out on the street. And he said that he's been parking his car out in the street for past 23 years. And I just want to know, are you guys ever gonna, or would you guys ever consider reforming Tinley Park's overnight parking, to which if you're a Tinley Park resident, that you can park in the street as long as it's not snowing? I understand that we can call in, but to be honest, sometimes we fall asleep, early, and we don't bring our cars in, and I think it's just something that's kind of really outdated, and I was wondering what your thoughts and opinions of it were.
Periodically, those things get revalidated, and I'd have no problem asking the Public Safety Committee and the Police Department to take a look at it again.
And I'm not saying that, not get rid of it altogether,
No.
saying that anyone can park in the street, but honestly, I do understand the safety precaution, and you want to know who's supposed to be here, who's not here, but to be real, if you scan my license plate, you're going to see, Lucas Hawley, you're going to see where I live, and no offense, if you're scanning my license plate and it's my car in front of my house, I'm pretty sure I'm not robbing my own house. But
We
that's all.
will ask the Public Safety Committee to
Yeah.
take a look.
Yeah, thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it.
You're quite welcome. Anybody else care to comment? Please.
I just had a quick question regarding the strategic plan that was just adopted. Will the results be made public anytime soon?
Yes, we're going to have something extensive on the website.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Anybody else care to comment? Let the record reflect there were none. Oh, I'm sorry. Please, step on up.
I do have a question regarding all of the new gaming licenses that you've been giving out. I seem to recall that last year there was a comment that a moratorium was being put on all of these when the residents came up and said, we don't want
There was a
10,000 of these
moratorium-
things?
There was a moratorium placed on video gaming parlors, which is simply dedicated video gaming facilities that have a liquor license and serve food. Those, when the bulk of that work that's done there is going to be video gaming, that is a moratorium on it, and there have only been 4 of those licenses issued thus far.
Has everybody who has been given one of these licenses paid their fees up front as were required by the earlier? Or is it just you can do it, but you don't have to?
No, they're consistent. There was a problem earlier, and that got straightened out.
Have any of the any of the businesses that have been awarded these licenses by you given campaign contributions to your team?
I don't know offhand.
Do you think maybe you can find out and have that for the next meeting?
I can, if you shoot me an email, I'll try to take a look.
Fine, I will. Thank you.
Mr. Glatz.
Hey, Mayor Seaman.
How are you?
Good. If you could just yes or no, that would be great. Since you're responsible for deciding whether to reappoint or replace dozens of the commissioners and board members each year and making these decisions, do you consider whether these appointed officials have performed well?
What I typically do is I ask the liaison trustees to comment upon the appointments, and they will usually give me feedback, as will the chairman of the various commissions. as when we're reappointing people that have, for instance, are new appointments.
So you
we'll
go
ask
by
for
the
a CV.
trustee? That's fine.
No, I try to rely on
I don't want to run
the
out of
best
time. That's
information
okay.
possible.
Do you consider whether these boards are effective?
I think that our volunteer boards and commissions have typically been very effective.
Do you monitor or measure their effectiveness yourself?
I do by the time the legislation that comes through this body right here.
So you do monitor their progress then?
Well, I monitor the legislation that they support or recommend.
Do they do reporting to you?
No.
You don't? All right, well, your municipal code 32.004 in reporting that you voted on and passed yourself, you're supposed to have an annual formal presentation from your boards to just get the progress on how they're
There's
doing.
supposed to be a commission, committee of chairs, and actually that's been discussed with the village clerk's office. We're probably going to conduct it in February.
And then do you call your meetings and board chairmans every 6 months?
No.
So you don't do that either?
No, because my liaison trustees are the direct link to those commissions,
Okay.
once again.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Any other question or comment? Mr. Stuckley?
Okay, at the last meeting, I started talking about the Cook County Ordinance 16/4229. I was corrected by you, which I'm glad you did that, so I did some more research. So there's actually two ordinances. So 16/4229 is the sick pay leave, and then the 16/5768 is the bump in the minimum wage. So I just wanted to say that, so I got that straightened out now. Somebody gave me a call, and they couldn't understand what I was talking about. They said, you kind of made sense, but then you were talking about something else, so I just wanted to clear that up. So, but I still think we should opt out. It's a good idea, and out of both of them. So, like I said, for the small businesses that are going to be coming in, it's only going to help them out.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Anyone else have any comment? Let the record reflect there were none. At this point, I would like to ask that the board consider a motion to go to executive session to discuss collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees or their representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees. B, litigation when an action against, affecting, or on behalf of the particular public body has been filed and is pending before a court or administrative tribunal, or when the public body finds that an action is probable or imminent, in which case the basis for the finding shall be recorded and entered into the minutes of the closed meeting. May I have such a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Then moved and seconded. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Item 20 on adjournment to executive session for roll call. Trustee Maher.
Yay.
Trustee Grady.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg.
Yes.
Trustee Yunker.
Yay.
Trustee Sugg.
Yes.
Motion carries. We don't expect there to be anything coming out of this meeting, but thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.